do think may just happen.
What would you like to talk about today? I'm just listening in on conversations. There's no specific agenda, so.
Do you have anything to say?
I got lots to say.
Bring it all out.
I got lots to say, but I'm not.
My name's Zishan.
Ishan Martin.
Zishan Martin.
Nice to meet you.
So we come to Speaker's Corner. I'm sure you're familiar with the concept.
Oh yeah, I'm a regular here.
Yeah.
I should be over there playing volleyball, really, but.
Oh, is there a volleyball? I might join you later.
Yeah.
I might have to get out of this suit.
It's great, yeah.
So what do you speak about at Speaker's Corner? Is it politics, religion?
I only really speak when the spirit moves me, to be honest, but which isn't that often. But occasionally, I just have to say some stuff.
Okay.
But I've got some favourites over here. Jamie over there with the Russian flag's very good.
Yeah, he is. We've had some good combos.
Yes, he's very good. He's very sharp, very informed, and I like haiku as well. He's a good orator. Don't always agree with him, but I like him. And Piers Corbyn as well.
Okay.
Piers
He's been here a few times.
He's down in most weeks.
So what do you think?
I've not met you before.
This
you regular here or?
I would say so for the last few years.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But maybe we're on different sides of the park, or maybe we're in different conversations.
Are you I'm getting the impression you're part of the religious.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sort of.
In the political side of things, right?
Yeah. I mean, not that spirituality is not extremely important. In fact, it's crucial.
It's not, or it is?
No, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, it's fundamental. But I can't get the answer in any of these religious dogmas. And
do you like talking about it? Do you like applying rationality on it, or is it something you've given up on? Tell me where you are.
Difficult to say, really.
Does it depend on the person you're speaking to?
Yeah, it does. It's obviously to have a conversation is good rather than somebody ranting at you.
I agree. Yeah. I can tell.
I mean,
I've got a very similar kind of mentality to yourself. Even from the people that you've mentioned, they seem to be people that listen, but talk when it's time to talk also. And especially if that person's logical and rational, it helps move the conversation along.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than I just think it to be true, I believe it to be true, or it's true to me.
Belief is the enemy of knowledge.
It can definitely be if
Unless
it's
you
uninformed.
believe that, you're dead to me.
How ironic, huh?
No, but I think it's. I mean, again, it's another. Is that a dogma? It is, but there's something in that as well. I mean, people say, I've met people say they have knowledge of God. I mean, that's extraordinary. I can't say that I would say I have knowledge. I have maybe experience. Tried calling myself an atheist, didn't work. It's false. That's another religion, really.
Right.
To me, based on dogma, and it's intransigent and immovable very often. Not always, but often. And
you believe in a form of God?
I don't want to. I want to hold my beliefs very lightly. I think it's a weak way to relate to the world. So I think I certainly have got beliefs, but I'm willing to give them up in a flash if there's something more. I have principles, which is separate. They're immovable.
Would you say you come to these principles using logic and rationality? Would you say they're your primary tools?
I don't know. Logic and rationality are superb tools, and they are limited.
Of course, yeah.
And especially in terms of communication.
Agreed, yeah.
You can't persuade someone with logic or rationality for the most part. It's, we've all tried it.
So would you say a degree of empirical evidence, a degree of emotional evidence, they all kind of come together when it comes to informing which view you take or not?
Oh, it's difficult. Again, it's difficult to say, really. I mean, I'm sort of like, I'm on a journey here, as we all are. And it's like, I I mean, my experience of the world and reality since 2020 has, I mean, it's been extraordinary. I mean, it's an extraordinary awakening in all areas. I mean, the extent to which we've been lied to deliberately is staggering.
What caused it?
Well, that's a big question.
Was it COVID?
Oh, well, the awakening.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just, the absolute tyranny that was imposed, and it was clear that it was manufactured. I got present to the sense of evil.
Right.
What was being done was evil. Locking elderly relatives away, keep them isolated, surrounded by people wearing scary masks and PPE, and not allowed to see their family and friends, their nearest and dearest, when they're dying for their health. Are you kidding me?
Our leaders were having parties in 10 Downing Street. Disgusting.
They knew it was a fraud. But see, actually, I mean, the Downing Street mob, that's like lower middle tier management as far as I can see. Clearly they're told, they're all owned, they're told what to do. This has become really, I mean, I was quite politically active I've always been quite politically active, but the way things shifted at that point to see the degree of ownership, and that they were really, I mean, it was, and it was throughout the world.
Who do you think's pulling the strings of the leaders?
Good question. I mean, I've sort of looked in various forms of research. There's people talk about the black nobility, people talk about the Jesuits, people talk about the Jews, people talk about all sorts of different possible groups. I mean, billionaires, the bankers, but certainly the banks are the owners are in shadows. You can't.
BlackRock and.
Well, it's BlackRock and stuff like that, but you can't say who owns the Bank of England. Any of the central banks, the Federal Reserve. These are all hidden. I'm not even close to the idea that this is non-human. It's it's so. What's been enacted now is so inhuman, beyond the scope of humanity. In my reckoning, in my intuition, I'm not close to maybe. I mean, maybe it is Satan or Shaitan or whatever. Some figure like that, or Lucifer, or some sort of entity. As I say, the spiritual world has opened up as a real thing for me now. I have no access to it, and I don't. I'm not taking it as a belief. I'm not going to start to believe. If someone says, "Oh, the architecture's like this," or "the architecture's like that," or.
But you definitely seem more open to it than you once were.
Yeah. Absolutely. And for me personally, I've just I feel like I've been taken care of, guided, protected. I'm exceptionally fortunate in many regards, and yet the areas of life where I've been frustrated and felt blocked and hindered, I'm thinking, well, maybe now I'm being protected, actually. It's like I always wanted to be rich. Always wanted to be rich. And I should have been a multi-millionaire by now.
You would have been in that rat race, isn't it? And like Howard Zen said, if you're in a rat race, even if you win the rat race,
you're still a rat.
Absolutely.
That's it. Yeah. So it's like it's extraordinary. It's really extraordinary. I don't know what to make of it.
So I think you're in a very fortunate and a very well-positioned place in your life, and you're right to feel that you're fortunate, because a lot of people, unfortunately and sadly, have so many layers of reality that have accrued onto them. It could be a layer of reality, something as simple as, for example, makeup. That's masking reality. the phone. Yeah, what we're seeing on the phone, how we portray ourselves on social media, it's another form. The mask that we put on when we go to work, it's another form. How we present ourselves to our employers, how we present ourselves to our partners. So, and then now with AI, virtual reality, and then I'm sure you're somewhat familiar with Black Mirror, the sort of technologies that are going to potentially come out, like Elon Musk's Neuralink, which are just going to be...
I mean, if the clue's not there, that guy wants to screw a computer into your brain, it's like, come on.
I saw even, the chip that they put in the hands, and I saw one guy saying, hey, look.
It's so convenient.
Yeah, I don't need to go around with my keys.
I don't need my keys anymore.
And you're like, exactly the sentiment that you've just expressed, which is, are you a real person?
Yes.
Or are you a bot?
Now that's a big question, because it's like, now it's actually, I've always, I've done work in the past, and I've just related to everyone as like, I relate to, or aspire to relate to the divine in people. But now it's like, wow, maybe some people are just, really are NPCs.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like,
I agree.
My God, that's staggering.
There's so many layers to reality that a person now paring down to find the authentic self can't, because the light's been refracted so much. Now it's just a blur.
Yeah, that speaks to me.
And when the self becomes a blur, then you become open to labeling, and I could be in a simulation, I could be this, I could be, an ape, I could be anything. And when you're so open-minded, your brain falls out. There has to be some safeguards that a person puts in place going, there's the boundary. I can be open-minded when it comes to X, Y, and Z, but here, I think we're going too far when it comes to that. Like even when people are debating whether it's okay to kill babies. Now that is...
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a moral boundary, as I'm sure any rational, reasonable person would concur and conclude.
Yeah.
But so as Muslims, what we kind of say is that all of this, no matter what happens in life, whatever trajectory we take, there will always be signs that will point us towards the divine.
Yes.
And if there is a lack of the divine, then evil increases, and evil will prove that there has to be a divine. So no matter which way a person looks at,
and I don't reject that, but I reel a bit, because I think evil doesn't prove the opposite necessarily. And I've met quite a lot of people who say, like, it's obviously that, what they're doing is like, it seemed clear to me that it's like, they're using the Revelations as a playbook. It's kind of, they want to create that.
Yeah.
So therefore the answer is to become a Christian. Now, I don't buy that.
Okay.
Just because, I don't believe in that stuff. But they clearly do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna oppose that with everything I have, in my own way, and stand for divinity and humanity as much as I can. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be given by a reaction to them.
Yeah.
To become the opposite of becoming the opposite of them is just becoming the other side of the same coin.
But I would also...
You can use it to divine stuff, I think, to a degree, but...
But I would also push back at the Christians, because if they're saying, if there is evil, therefore Christianity is true, there's evil, therefore Christianity is true, it's false, because just because there's evil doesn't mean Christianity is true. That's not the only option.
Yes.
Islam is still there, Judaism is still there, Hinduism is still there. Why Christianity? And you're right, I accept. And I'm actually on your side that it seems a bit of a cop-out. That rather than proving Christianity to be true, they say, oh, because there is evil, therefore Christianity is true. I would definitely say it's part
Or
of
any
the
religion.
argument.
Yeah.
I would say, look, if you
Can
believe,
be indicative, yeah, I got it.
definitely.
But
So now that, okay, there is evil, and evil contains certain non-physical entities like Satan, like the jinn, yeah, or the Christians, like they believe in fallen angels, whatever the case may be. We don't believe in
Nephilim and
fallen
stuff like
angels,
that, yeah.
So we believe in the jinn, which is another form of creation, which negatively can affect people. And we do definitely believe that the jinn are involved in purporting the side of evil also. But in order to do this, the question is fundamental. Is there most likely to be God, or is there most likely not to be God? As Muslims, we would say that, look, if we look at the origin of the universe leads us to a few potential questions. Did it come from chance? Did it come from nothing? Did it create itself? Or was it created by something? So out of those plausible answers, where have you reached at this moment in time?
I mean, it's really difficult. I mean,
I did the same as you.
I'm struggling to find out what shape
How are you doing?
the planet is.
Yeah.
You know, so certain things do ring true or possible. Like simulation, you mentioned simulation theory.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of hangs true. That hangs together. It makes sense in terms of something like the phenomenon of time. Like, time doesn't exist. It's a completely made-up phenomenon. It doesn't exist anywhere. You can't chop up and find a piece of time.
It's abstract, and
It's
physics
entirely abstract.
Yeah.
All we have is now, the eternal now. That's all we have, and it's gone, and it's gone, and it's gone.
I think in physics it defines it as movement, right?
Well, but here's the thing: it occurs like there's time. So, I mean, obviously, you know, I cycled down here a while ago.
Yeah.
I've been speaking to you for some time. Later, I'm going to a barbecue. It's like there is time.
Yeah.
But yet it doesn't really exist. So how can it exist? And the simulation theory kind of puts that all together. It does explain a possible interpretation of time that gives you time, that there is all this software, there's all this programming that is entered into, that just comes into the now like a DVD.
Right.
That it comes through the now. But there's only ever the now, there's only ever the on-screen.
So, I mean, even when it comes to time, there's so many different definitions, right? Depends how you want to see it. If you want to see it through a physics lens, movement is time. If you want to see it through an Einsteinian lens, there's like a fabric, a space-time fabric. So it completely depends. What we say is...
It's a shame he was such a liar as well. It's staggering.
So what we say is, let's go to the most important question, which is you take space, you take matter, you take everything, you take it to the earliest point, that point right at the beginning. Does it lead to an infinite, or does it lead to an end, as Aristotle called it, the prime mover, or as previous philosophers called it, the necessary existence? Now, the mere fact that we exist means that there has to be an end to that infinite chain, right? And because we exist, now that initial start to that chain through which we have come, some people say, oh, it's created from chance. But chance doesn't create things. Like you mentioned about time, it's abstract. And an abstract thing doesn't do something physical, right? It's our form of explanation for that particular thing. Then they say maybe it came from nothing. But surely nothing is the absence of something. So nothing can't create something. Then so you got chance.
Nothing comes from nothing.
Exactly. If I've got, you ask the people with an empty bank account, they've been sitting there for ages. They go, I've been waiting for 10 grand. I subscribe.
You mean look at my dreams.
Yeah. it's worth trying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I wish.
Absolutely. The abstract thing. You know, I hope it works. So I mean, chance doesn't create. Nothing doesn't create. The universe can't create itself. They call it the cosmic bootstrap. Like you're trying to pick yourself up using your shoelaces. So I would say, and a lot of philosophers of the past, a lot of thinkers of the past, didn't have any issue concluding that there must be a being. But the question now arises, the gripe is with regards to the nature of that being. Not whether it exists or not, because it's more plausible than not that it does exist. If we look at physics, we look at philosophy, we look at Leibniz, all of these guys and all their theories, cause and effect and this and that, we'd have to sacrifice so much of that to conclude that it came from nothing or came by itself.
Just by random chance. Yeah, I don't buy that. That's to me, that evolution theory is quite deliberate in its attack on spirituality and divine.
Okay.
It's, I think there's some things in it. It's like natural selection. I think that's quite
it's observable.
it's observable. But the evolutionists always failed with the evidence, and I need to read Darwin. Actually, he's on my list, but I'm not that inspired to him. I think he's a bit.
You said your name's Steve, right?
Martin.
So Martin, I don't know if you read, John Lennox makes a really good argument. He's a Christian, and he says, and a lot of other people have said also. So he's professor of mathematics in Oxford.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is anymore. So you're going to make a note of Darwin?
Yeah. No, John Lennox.
Oh, John Lennox. Yeah. So I've read a book of his. It's pretty good. It's called The God's Undertaker.
God's Undertaker.
God's Undertaker. Yeah. And it's a play on words of Nietzsche saying God is dead. So he said if God is dead, then I mean, with the God's Undertaker, right? If that was to be plausible. I mean, he is a Christian.
Nietzsche's very interesting. Actually.
Yeah.
I like Nietzsche. He's got faults as well, but
absolutely,
we've all got faults. None of us is perfect.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand his writings and his murmurings because later on in his life, he was told not to write write in large portions of time. Like he would have to write in maybe 20 minutes, and then he'd have to take a break.
Well, he was very ill, wasn't he?
Exactly. Yeah, so a lot of people, what they do is they read him in continuity, expecting, or maybe this, and trying to, like that pareidolia, trying to see a connection where there is no connection. But it was literally a stream of consciousness from his side.
Well, the end stuff, I mean, it was also completely, profoundly corrupted. His sister and Wagner just took it over, and they were using it as propaganda for their
for the Nazi party.
Ultimately, it was used by the Nazi party. So
I mean, even
which was an antithesis of what Nietzsche was. I mean, that's why he fell out with his sister and Wagner.
I mean that's what I mean. Nietzsche has written a book called Antichrist, in which he speaks very positively about Islam in comparison to Christianity.
Right.
So a lot of people don't know about.
Right. No, I didn't know that one.
There's a lot. I mean, even John.
The Antichrist.
Yeah, the Antichrist. So he speaks quite positively. In fact, he was more favourable towards Muslims than he was with Christians because.
I know a few Christians.
Yeah.
Why don't I know a few Muslims?
Absolutely.
What was it? So that Nietzsche's book, The Antichrist.
Yeah, The Antichrist.
I'm amazed I don't know that one.
Yeah, because these things aren't popularized. They won't mention these things. They won't
I did study Nietzsche.
They won't say the revolution of Copernicus was actually based on a handful of books, and at least half of them were Arab scholars.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like Tusi and all these individuals.
That was fundamental in astronomy, which was something I was just interested in as a hobbyist.
Absolutely.
But it's like all that. So many stars are named in Arabic names, and
Biruni has named so many.
Yeah.
So what John Lennox says is that evolution is a mechanism. So if you were to categorize, you put evolution, Big Bang, into the category of a mechanism. God is in the category of a creator of mechanisms.
Right.
He's not a mechanism. He creates mechanisms. So when people say evolution, Big Bang refutes God, you fall into a fallacy, which is it was in my head, but basically what you're doing is the category is false. Yeah, you're assuming it's in the category of evolution when it's actually in another category.
Yeah, very good.
So evolution and Big Bang, I mean, that's a theory in itself. And if you want to look more into evolution, there are scholars like Shapiro and Michael Roos. It's called third way. If you search third way evolution, these are atheist scientists who are credible in the field of science that are critiquing evolution and taking apart certain things that science takes for granted, certain assumptions.
There's so many assumptions. Science is completely corrupt.
So probably, I mean, if you're aware of that, you know Rupert Sheldrake in the Science
it's
Delusion.
superb. Absolutely superb.
So this is.
Sorry?
You're an atheist?
No.
Christian?
I'm just having a conversation with this guy.
So that's building on that kind of premise that, okay, you've got evolution there. Why are we firstly? A category error. That's what I wanted to say.
Category
error. So when you're trying to shunt something in one category when it actually belongs in another category, it's a fallacy, because now you've now created a straw man saying, the two conflict when they actually don't.
Absolutely.
It's like when people say to us, are you Muslim or are you British? It's a category error. Anyone who studied basic logic knows that person is a nutter. But unfortunately, a lot of people fall prey into that. So it's the same, like a person can look into evolution. The third way, that's going to open a Pandora's box for you, because those are credible academics. James Shapiro was actually the student of a lady, I haven't looked into it for quite a while, Vanessa something, I think. She was looking at jumping seeds or something, and she's a Nobel Prize laureate. So these aren't obscure scientists.
Yes.
Like
they are there.
Myers, like with Myers.
No.
So he's also a Christian. Something Myers. It's called the Gods something. If you search him up, he wrote a very good book also, and he tries to marry both like science. He purports intelligent design.
Right. Yes.
So if you search up intelligent design Myers, his book's going to come up, and he's respected in the field. A point that I'm trying to say is that anyone who looks into this seriously will not see contradictions between these. You can look and believe in evolution as a working model and a working theory, but it's when certain fundamentalists like Dawkins try to make it seem like, no, this is the theory, but that goes against the philosophy of science, which is
entirely. That's where Sheldrake was superb.
Yeah, he really was.
In the most scientific manner, he dismantled scientism.
Yeah,
superbly.
He's brilliant.
It's just beautiful.
And even when you look at his other theories on like telepathy and stuff like that, and he's talking about that sort of stuff on a very high level.
Yes.
I would say we've been duped into believing in just the material, and then
that was the fundamental thing I got from him.
Yeah.
Because he looked at. According to science, everything about our existence comes from the bit of fat that we have inside this little box, and all the billions of connections, and that's it. That creates our entire experience. And although Sheldrake didn't say this, to me, this is my analogy. It's like if seeing a radio and hearing music, and then trying to smash the radio up to try and find the instruments and the singers, and it's just insane. Experience goes way beyond our experience of just we are kind of constrained I feel like I'm this little being here manipulating the world, going out and use my little hands to get what I can. but there's more to it than that as well, and it is all these other. It's not just a material. It can't be. It ultimately it fails any scientific test to me. And
there's a term for it where science, by definition or by its methodology, rejects the metaphysical.
Yes.
And when you in the method, you don't accept the metaphysical, you then can't make the claim that the metaphysical doesn't exist.
Exactly.
It's like a room before entering, you say no red allowed. And when you go inside that room and no one's wearing red, somebody proclaims, oh, red doesn't exist. Hang on a minute, this is a sleight of hand here.
Yeah.
So,
very good.
Yeah,
good analogy.
So it's a shame, unfortunately, that people don't catch onto this sort of stuff, or they just don't have time to look into this sort of stuff.
Well, that's the world we've been funneled into. People haven't got the time, the space. They're not. It's not. There's no value put on it, and the speakers who have got interesting things to say are suppressed. Or
Sheldrake himself was suppressed.
Absolutely.
Right? His TEDx talk was suppressed by the scientific community, and it wasn't aired. It had to be done through a secondary source or through a secondary platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
Channel.
Yeah.
Shame.
It is a shame on those who do that. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a right to this.
So then the next step would be that the gripe now with Muslims and Christians is that how do we define this existence, right? So Christians would say, and Muslims would differ with them. Christians say, look, God could be a multiplicity. Yeah, you got the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, three co-equal, co-eternal beings. What we say
it's always a tough sell, that one.
Exactly. I mean, even I think one of the Cappadocian fathers, when he was talking about the Trinity, he said it's a monstrous dilemma, he called it.
This is where, the dogma, I think all religions seem to have a dogma. Like it is this way or it is that way, this is the truth. And I can't go with any of that. And it's a profound arrogance. To think that I would know the mind of God, I can maybe know, I can know you, but I don't know your mind and everything. I can learn a bit about you and stuff, but I can, and you can judge and evaluate people over time a bit, but
let me give you the flip side of that coin.
Yeah.
So then certain people, I think for certain people to be justified with that level of certainty, I think it's valid with certain conditions. If you're able to evidence, if you're able to prove convincingly using external methods, using the methods that we use at large, I would say that person has more of a saying, more of an authority of certainty than say somebody that doesn't. I'll give you an example. When it comes to Muslims, when we're trying to prove God, we will say that, look, let's look at what we understand.
Why would you need to prove God?
I'll tell you why. Because obviously we believe that there is ultimate truth. You believe that, right?
Again, I sort of default to belief is the enemy of knowledge. I think there are things that are true.
Ultimately true, right?
You show me someone who knows the ultimate truth, I'll show you a fanatic.
Like, for example, 1 + 1 = 2. That's seen as a necessary truth, right? In philosophy, they say it's true in all worlds. You can't
a priori truth.
A priori.
And even that can be changed.
You believe 1 + 1 = 2 can be false?
So if you ever read 1984...
I have, yes. Glorious.
Interesting book.
What a writer.
Yeah. There's too much to say about Orwell now, but...
he's been hijacked like Nietzsche.
If he even ever existed.
Oh, in that sense.
But was very instrumental to me in looking at the world. But it's like in 1984, the ultimate thing. Winston Smith says, freedom is the right to think 2 + 2 = 4. From that, all else follows. under torture, he was made to see that if the party says 2 + 2 = 5, it is 5. And that be real for you. That became real for him for a moment. You can get mathematicians who can completely turn things inside out to say 2 + 2 = 6 or 3 or whatever they want. You can make those things. It's now, I'm not just trying to be cantankerous. Obviously, the way we relate in the normal world, 2 + 2 = 4. And, if you go into the shop and you say, 2 + 2 = 6, they're going to show you the door very quickly.
Give me that 5, man. Go and do one, mate.
But all reality can be morphed. It's
but that's a individual with a Assalamu alaikum. That's an individual with a bias or with an agenda trying to morph it. I'm talking about a priori reality, in which, of course, 1 + 1 or 2 + 2 = 4. We don't believe in contradictions. Otherwise, like you've said, it seems that when it comes to religion, we're applying an unfair criteria. When it comes to, for example, everything else, we're applying a certain level of criteria, right?
I can see what you mean, yes. And so you have to apply the same criteria unless you're changing the whole landscape of the debate. But the whole landscape of the debate can change sometimes.
But then if you're changing the goalpost and saying, here, let's accept contradictions, then we need to accept contradictions when it comes to... Do you see?
Yeah, absolutely. And that has to be, you can't just move the goalpost to... that clearly doesn't
So
work.
if I was to take just a priori knowledge to kind of turn someone towards believing that there is an existence, because let's face it, we're being convinced, we're being persuaded, we're presented logical arguments on a daily basis, and we accept many, we reject many. So similar when it comes to God, I think sometimes, and I accept, and I sympathize with many people that say religion has been weaponized, and religion has, corrupted, not done justice to the divine. But then I can make the same argument for democracy.
Absolutely.
And I would say the democracy in the UK, when people actually look into democracy, over here we've got representative democracy. In Switzerland, we've got more forms of direct democracy than representative democracy. When it comes to socialism, a lot of people, I don't want to call you a fan. You said you do listen to Piers Corbyn. You probably do have leanings towards socialism, right?
I can't call... Yes, I always did. I rejoined the Labour Party after 30 years to support his brother for 5-6 years. I can't call myself a socialist now. It's a bankrupt term, I'm afraid. And
there you go. But if somebody was to say all of social, I'm not going to accept any form of socialism and this and that, you would say that's a bit unfair. Yeah, because the way certain people implemented socialism via communism and this and that, how some people have, like what Hitler did was democratic, what Mussolini did was democratic. So does
democracy is three wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. I don't want to be part of that democracy.
Very interesting way of putting it, exactly. Plato didn't like it. Plato wasn't a big fan of it, especially the democracy that we have today.
Benevolent dictator, I think Hughes was...
Exactly.
It's difficult. For me, personally, I'm sort of more lean towards anarchist or voluntarist ideology or ideals of personal sovereignty, which is hard won if you ever win it, really, but to actually be sovereign in yourself.
And if somebody was to say, why do you have to pick one? Why can't you just reject all of them? A lot of them have been corrupted. You're going to say that, look, I'm doing my research into the one that I feel, and also I rationalize is the most coherent and productive for society, right?
Yeah.
So as a theist, I would make the same argument when, for example, I'm speaking to an atheist or a Christian. I would say that, okay, so you believe in a Trinity, we believe in monotheism. Let's see which holds a priori and rationally to be more correct. And I would argue...
That's shooting fish in a barrel there, my friend.
No, I think you will agree with me. Look,
yeah, I would.
So let's just say we come back to a necessary existence.
Yeah.
I would ask the Christian, I would ask the person that believes in multiplicity of the origination, I would say that in itself is a contradiction. Why? Because
the multiplicity of
an origin.
Of an origin is a contradiction, right?
Is a contradiction.
Okay, yeah.
Because if we accept that there is either dependent or independent existences, yeah. So we're dependent, the universe is dependent, where the universe came from, that's dependent. But ultimately, by definition, a dependent thing has to rely on something independent. You're with me, right? By definition.
I don't see.
Because there's only two options there.
I struggle with this. It's like every philosopher that I've read in the past that tries to prove God using rationality and logic, it just doesn't resonate. It's like being cornered. I feel like a rat being pushed into a corner. I mean, I can entertain the argument, but it just doesn't resonate with me, and I can't.
I'll give you an example.
I almost can't get my brain around it.
I feel it's not just yourself. I think normally when we use arguments with atheists and Christians, this term sometimes comes up like you're boxing me. But logic itself, when you're coming up with an argument itself, is a box, right? If P then Q, P therefore Q. Yeah, premise one, premise two, the conclusion. That's how you form arguments, right? So if we to define...
Well, that's one way of forming arguments.
Yeah. Because if you keep everything generic, you don't define terms, you don't lead like if, you don't have if-then statements, you can't formulate an argument.
Yeah, I can understand that. And so maybe I should just shut up and listen to your argument.
Yes.
Until it's time for me to go over there, but
absolutely,
yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
sorry for
no worries. It's good. I mean, you're being honest. I would rather speak to the authentic Martin rather than a Martin that's just trying to, you know what? Let's just wait for him to finish what he's saying and walk off. Because I want you to.
I'm engaging with it as much as I can.
And I want you to leave and go, you know what? The point that he said about this is quite interesting. Let me look more into this.
Yeah, no.
I want you to leave more with questions.
Yeah.
Then just like, let me just finish with it. So when it comes to the argument of, say, dependency, we say that either things are dependent or independent. Yeah? So if we look at the trees, the universe, the people, everything, they're all dependent on something else for its existence. But something that is dependent, by definition, means that it's reliant upon something. So if you're reliant upon something, there's now two options. Either it goes on forever, or there's an end to that chain. Yeah? Now, if it goes on forever, that means a person believes in an actual infinity, which doesn't exist, and it's been refuted, and would lead to...
Turtles all the way down, yes.
It's like... an example is like, I'm trying to charge my car with a battery that's run out. So I'm trying to charge my car with an empty battery that's linked to another empty battery. I can have an infinite chain of empty batteries. My car's never going to get charged. Yeah? If I'm trying to borrow money and I ask someone who's broke, another person who's broke for infinity, I'm never going to get money in my pocket. So if I'm somebody who's living and breathing and I'm getting that energy from somewhere, that power from somewhere, there has to be an end to that chain. There has to be an independent existence for me to exist. Now the question here is, this independent existence, by definition, means that everything relies on it and it relies on nothing. By definition, that's independent. Otherwise, if you rely on something, you're dependent, then you're in the other category. So now when a Christian says, you can have multiple independence, then the gripe would be, the reason why this is incoherent is, let's just say, for the purpose of
I can get your point, and the multiple interdependence in terms of the
but just to complete this, let's just say you're independent, I'm independent. It's a contradiction now, because the definition of independent is everything depends on it, and it depends on nothing. So does everything depend on me now? No, because you're independent, you don't depend on me.
Well,
you see.
So Bishop Berkeley.
Who?
Bishop Berkeley.
Berkeley, yes.
Berkeley. Basically took every element of experience and disappeared it and brought it down to that everything depends on our perception for its reality. So your perception is what gives reality to anything. So for that camera, for example, there is no reality. It cannot perceive. I mean, it's recording and everything, but it's actually not got any perception to perceive.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could say it's in a stupor. It's stupid. Whereas we're not.
Well, a lot of us.
Well, yeah, actually.
Doesn't jump the gun.
Maybe I spoke too soon there. Sometimes I can be very stupid. But, and I can perceive that you are perceiving. That's good enough for me.
But that's a posteriori knowledge. We're talking about a priori knowledge, right?
Which
is independent of human perception.
And so, therefore,
for example, a tree
this
can
is where it's like Descartes, René Descartes. It's like, I think, therefore I am. He broke down the world as well and said everything's a lie. I think, therefore, but I cannot deny that I'm thinking. In fact, he was wrong. He should have said that there are thoughts, therefore I am. But
but that's Nietzsche refuted Descartes, and then Avicenna refuted both of them. So Descartes said,
all of these people, I've struggled when they they break down reality, and then they use it to methodically try to establish the existence of God. And I find that really clunky.
But only one's been successful out of those three. For example, Descartes
Which
said,
one?
Avicenna. So I'll tell you why. Nietzsche said, I think, therefore I am. That presupposes a brain exists, a mind exists.
Descartes.
Descartes. Yeah. He said, I think, therefore I am. Presupposing that a mind exists, presupposing a self exists. And that's exactly what Nietzsche said. Where's the I coming from? You're presupposing an I.
Yeah.
And then Avicenna, although came before, but he said existence is the most fundamental thing that can't be rejected. Yeah, because you have to accept that there is existence. Yeah, when it comes to I and this and that, existence. If you don't say that,
you don't even have to accept that. I mean, you can suicide. So you don't even have to accept that.
Let me give you an example. When you
how do you spell Avicenna, by the way?
Avicenna, Avicenna. There's a book called Burhan which talks about his argument at length.
How do you spell Burhan?
Burhan. And the author is Muhammad Hijab.
Muhammad
Hijab. Hijab. So he talks and breaks down the views of Avicenna very well in that book.
Yeah.
And the thing with existence is, let's just say a person is doubting, or they're asking a question. The mere fact that you're doubting or asking a question, you believe that that thing exists, that doubt exists.
Doubt, yes.
Do you see?
Belief is inherently doubt. Doubt is belief. Yes.
So belief, doubt, question, looking, observation, logic, whatever it is, it's a form of existence. That's why Avicenna's argument is more fundamental than Descartes' and even Nietzsche's critique of that as well. So when we look and we accept that there's existence, I mean, I opted for the easy argument, which was dependent, independent. If you go with existence, you would then say there's two forms of existence: contingent existence or necessary existence. But independent and dependent is a very simplified way of getting that across.
Yep.
And ultimately speaking, you can't have an infinite regress. There has to be an infinite regress. There has to be an end to that chain, and that end to that chain has to be a singular, has to be independent, has to be pre and post eternal, and nothing like it. And most people that I speak to have no issue with that from a logical perspective, and they are sometimes surprised, but often not, that in chapter 112 of the Quran, that's our definition of God. Whilst for you to be a Trinitarian, proto-Trinitarian, you have to accept there's Father, Son, Holy Spirit. They are co-equal, co-eternal.
I mean, you don't even need to talk about that, but I'll consider that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's good to meditate on the infinite. And so no, that's good. I'll take that away. Thank you very much.
No, the pleasure was mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then think about that, and then maybe next time we could then say what the next plausible step could be using our non-biased faculties.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah?
Excellent.
All right, take it easy.
Have a great day.
You too.
Cheers.
Bye.